I'm now delighted to be joined online in the next of our Stargate Universe Franchise Documentary by the one and only Teryl Rothery, who played the role of Janet Fraiser. Teryl, 7 years in Stargate SG1, an iconic show, globally renowned all over the world, from Brazil, Ireland, Australia, Germany, France, Spain. It's been converted to so many languages. You can hear it in Spanish, German, millions of viewers all over the world. Probably 2 decades on, still going very strong. And how delighted are you to have played 7 years in that iconic franchise as Dr. Janet Fraiser?
Oh my goodness, Jim. First of all, thank you for asking us and doing all of this for the show. It was probably, not probably about it. It was most definitely the best 7 years being on the show and working with the cast and the crew. It was an amazing, amazing experience. And like you say, it continues. You know, we're still, people are still watching, and we're still getting out and doing what we can over the last 2 decades. So it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, and I suppose, Teryl, the show itself, how did you get cast in the role as Dr. Janet Fraiser?
Well, I originally, when it first came out, what they call the breakdown, when it first came out to audition, I was called in to audition for Sam Carter, funnily enough, which is, it's just so bizarre to even think, you know, that I had auditioned for that. And it was nice. I was shortlisted for it, but I didn't go to the screening or the, what do they call it? The final round, let's just say. And then I was down in Los Angeles, and I was doing some work down there, and I ended up booking a movie that, funnily enough, was shooting in Vancouver. So I flew back home to Vancouver to do the movie. And while I was here, my agent said, "Hey, I have an offer for you. They want you to play the Doctor in Stargate. It's may recur, they don't know, but right now it's just a one-off, one episode." And that's how Janet Fraiser came to be.
Yeah, I suppose you're famous in terms of the Stargate universe because you're probably one of the first main characters to meet your muffins as sort of such to die on a sort of a show. And many people saw Stargate as pretty much like the Dukes that had like the A-Team, where no one really dies. It was that sort of way of the principal characters, and it was a sort of a bombshell as well. And I suppose for a character as well, the death scenes, do you really enjoy that? Do you really die? You've been told you're going to die on set. What's that like as an actress? I suppose in terms of, you obviously know that it's going to be one of the most watched episodes of the entire series, but you also know it's going to be your last one as well.
First of all, we don't know it's going to be one of the most watched episodes at that time, right? The beauty of this, and I wasn't the first one to die. If you recall, Michael Shanks's character ascended. Remember, he left this earth for a time, and then fortunately came back. But sadly, when you get a staff blast to the chest, you're gone. So for Fraiser, we were shooting out of sequence that year, meaning we weren't going, you know, episode 1 through 20. So at the morning part, I was shooting something from another episode with Michael. Michael and I had lunch, and then we were transferred to the next location to shoot the death scene. And when I finished, I was back at work the next day. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm dead now, but hey, see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good night. So it was different. It didn't feel so final for me. But once I left the show, it all kind of hit. And it was, it was sad. Sad as an actor, because I so loved that character. And over the years, through the amazing loyalty of the fans and supporters of the show, have found how much they also enjoyed the character of Janet Fraiser. So it was sad to see her go. It was certainly sad to see, well, it was sad for me to not be able to portray her anymore. But it was a beautifully written script. It was a lovely send-off to her character. So in that regard, it was nice to see. It was nice to see how it all came to be.
Yeah, and I suppose, Terl, in terms of Stargate as well, one of the most eye-catching storylines for you was you got to your daughter Cassie, Sandra, as such, that came on the show, and it obviously portrayed the mother-daughter sort of bond, and it almost gave a sort of a background. Your story, your background sort of came to light, and it showed the human side of your character away from the saving lives and taking out aliens out of people's heads.
Yes, that is very true. It was nice to see that. That's I think that's another thing that I missed, is that you were starting to really get to know Janet, right? We were getting to know everybody. The beauty of every single time, we had amazing writers. So every episode there was more reveal, right? The more layers of the onion were taken away, and you got to see more of who that person was. So we were just really getting to know, like you say, the human side of her. You know, the fact that she isn't just in Cheyenne Mountain 24/7, that she does have a life outside of it. And so yeah, it was sad that that had to be cut short, and certainly sad that once again Cassandra was left without a parent figure. But as we know in the storyline, it was left to then Sam and Jack to do to fulfill that, to, you know, the guardianship of her. So yeah.
I suppose, Terrell, if I can speak about some of your cast members as well, and one thing, the most intriguing character of that show was obviously Christopher Judge, who played the character Teal. And I suppose, in terms of that, you can't really see his personality as such, because he's almost like this warrior commandment thing. But you obviously got to work with Christopher Judge on set, and you got to see the real character. And we have glimpses of what Amanda Tapping and Michael Shanks and Richard Dean Anderson are like. But in terms of Christopher Judge, I suppose he's nowhere near I suppose his character Teal. That's for certain.
That is for certain, Jim. Yeah, he is certainly not like Tilk. Christopher's like a brother. We were all a very tight-knit family, you know, during the time that we were together on Stargate, and we still see each other whenever we can. And I miss him dearly. And he is probably one of the funniest, most giving, warm-hearted beings. I absolutely love him to bits. So it was, yeah, to be able to say that we have made friendships for the past 20 years because of that show is really a gift. That's the big gift, you know?
And I suppose it's when you talk about the cast, obviously there's one member that's no longer with us, Don Davis, I suppose, a pioneer and certainly the face of Stargate SG1 for millions all over the world. And even when people tried to come in and replace him towards the latter seasons, it was almost trying to take down an icon as such, and that's the imprint he left on that show.
He certainly did leave an imprint on the show, but he also left an imprint to every single one of us. And certainly when I say every single one of us, I don't mean just the cast and crew, but the fans as well. He was an amazing human being. And those who had the honor of seeing him on stage at various conventions for Stargate got to see what Don was all about. Again, just an amazing human being. And it was just tragic that he had to leave us so soon. He was very, very, very much loved. You're right. Beau Bridges is I'm a fan of his work. I quite like his work, and there was no way he was even attempting to take the place of, because it's an impossibility. You can't take the place of what a character has already been created by another actor. But he did a lovely job portraying the general on the show. But you're right, it just wasn't the same, right? There was just that warmth that Hammond had, that he had that dad, that father-like thing that only Don could bring to that character. So yeah, he's very much missed.
I suppose, Terrell, in terms of Stargate as well, it has an iconic sort of fan base all over the world, and you mentioned that it's still going strong to this day. the opportunity ever came about for you to appear in a cameo role, and if there was a blockbuster movie that came out in 2021 and a new sort of Stargate adventure appeared, would that be something you'd be up for?
Oh, 100%. 100%. You bet I would.
And in terms of the franchise, we've seen Stargate SG1, we've seen Stargate Atlantis, we've seen Stargate the universe as well. Do you think, in terms of it's roughly been 10 years now since the last, do you think there's a hunger there for another sort of Stargate? I know Stargate, Star Trek, and Star Wars in multiple seasons. Stargate has that iconic cult following. Do you think there's an opportunity for another spin-off series there in the works?
Well, I certainly hope so. And from what I hear, people would definitely be interested in wanting to see it for sure. Absolutely. I mean, look at how different shows are coming back. It's, it's like, it sort of makes a full circle. So it would be an absolute treat if they did, in fact, bring it back in some capacity. Yes.
Teryl Rothery, thanks for giving us your time this evening to speak about your memories as Janet Fraiser in Stargate, reliving all those joyous moments over 7 years. So many iconic moments, so many stories. You're the one and only Janet Fraiser. No one can take your shoes. You left a mark on the sci-fi industry, and no doubt an important part of Stargate's success. Thanks for taking your time to speak to us this evening, sir.
An absolute pleasure, Jim, and thank you for asking to speak.
Thank you.